Hello and welcome back to Tales of Lumin. Today we're talking about Reaper of Souls, because I said before that I wanted to discuss my general thoughts and impressions of the game with a lot of you. I want to talk about Act 5, my new character which is a monk, the story of the game, the potential future for the Diablo series, and all the rest. I should probably start by saying that Diablo 3 is fun once more. I've just been enjoying the game. There's so much to do at max level now, at end game now, that it would be impossible for someone like me to get bored. I want to log in constantly, do one more bounty, run one more rift, collect a couple more blood shards to gamble them away and get nothing, open more Herodric caches, pray to the Loot 2.0 gods to drop me another set item or legendary. There's just so much to do, so much fun to be had. And if you haven't played Diablo 3 in any way, shape or form since, let's just say, the original launched, since you maybe completed the campaign for the first time back then you should jump back in now, because you're missing out. If you at any point in your life enjoyed a Diablo game, then this one's for you. That's all I'm saying. It's fun. The random factor that they've introduced at max level is so great. The story that they shoved into Act 5, man, so good. I had such a blast playing through the act and listening to all the lore snippets, the dialogue, because I did this differently. This time around, I spent a whole lot more time than I did during the beta. In the beta, I kind of rushed through the act just to see all of it, to make sure I got to the end before it ended, the actual beta test. But now, this time, we explored, while we played, myself, my wife, and the friend, we explored every single nook and cranny of every map, we collected all the books, we spoke to everyone in town, we did the follower side quests, which were just out of this world crazy fun. I guess some of them were a little bit depressing. But the others were just great. Such a cool idea. They should add more of those. They probably will add more of those. They can do it for other characters in the game too. Why not make Tyrael side quests? Why the heck not? There's probably going to be a blacksmith side quest at some point. A Miriam the Enchanter, the Mystic, she's a mystic, not an enchanter, side quest at some point. They're great. They work. And they help, or at least helped me, visualize the stories of those followers a little bit. Because sure, you spoke to them a whole lot, went through all the dialogue with them, but actually seeing the stuff that they were talking about, it's different. Then, the story as a whole in Act 5, it was just so much better than Act 1 to 4. I mean, I still enjoyed Act 1 to 4. Back when I played it for the first time, I had a good time. I had a blast playing through there. It was good. It was a new Diablo game, a new experience. Sure, I disagreed with a few of the things that they did in it, but Reaper of Souls brought all of that together and improved on it. It's kind of impressive that they managed to do that, but it all just fits now. You know, I even went back, reset my quests, played through everything again, and I didn't really even skip all the dialogue, all the cutscenes. I wanted to see it again, because it was interesting. And some of the stuff that you see in Act 1 to 4 now makes a little bit more sense, having played Act 5. Then the lore and dialogue and all that other stuff in Act 5 was just so much better as well. You know, in Act 1 to 4, you kind of got the feeling that the lore books and the lore pop-ups and stuff were just to give you this information about this creature, or that information about that person, or this little bit of knowledge about this one area. But in Reaper of Souls, they had these stories going on beneath the surface. So some of the books that you pick up tell a story of their own, of other characters that we don't really know much about at this point, and you could miss all of it if you don't pick up those books, if you don't loot them and listen to them. You don't need to listen to them, but they're there if you want to. And am I glad I listened to the lot of them. Specifically the story that popped up, I think it was in Pandemonium Fortress, of Inarius and Lilith. The birth of all creation, basically. The birth of the Nephilim. How they created the world of Sanctuary. That was great. I mean, I'm not a lore buff in any way when it comes to Diablo. I don't know that much about the series lore. I could speculate a little about what could come in the future, and I will, in just 1 second. But the addition of all of that, these underlying stories that you don't need to listen to, you don't need to pay attention to, but you could if you want to, that was such a good idea. The boss battles, man, don't get me started on those. Urzael was a lot of fun, kinda difficult. We played through the entire game on expert mode. We had a party of 2 crusaders and a monk. So we had a lot of survivability. I was dying more than the other two. The 2 of them playing crusaders. But, man, on expert mode, he was pretty tough. We were still leveling. I think at the end of Act 5, I was probably at level 66 or something like that. Not entirely sure. Didn't get 70 before the end of the game. But the bosses were done well. Difficult. Easy to understand mechanics. Difficult to master. I'm not sure if they're going to be much more difficult on, say, Torment or whatever. But even on Expert, they were pretty tough. And I had a good time doing them. They weren't too tough, but they were pretty tough. Now, Malthael himself, the boss fight, was kind of good. I wasn't a huge fan of the little stadium they had you fight on, but I generally don't like that kind of thing. Helene pointed out that it looked exactly like the Lich King boss battle area from Wrath of the Lich King, World of Warcraft, and she's right. The color scheme was the same. You also fight on that floating... Is it even floating? I don't know. That floating disc on top of Icecrown Citadel. Who even knows? Who even knows? But it was great. Boss battle was great, and at the end... So, I should have said this long ago, that there were spoilers in here, but at the end, they reveal to you that... Or at least they open up a lot of different possibilities for future expansions, where they say that, you know, you saved the world, you took Malthael down, you're so strong, you're so powerful, but in your chest is a mortal heart that could potentially be corrupted. And when that corruption strikes, will you have the power to resist? Or will you be our doom? I think it was something like that. I can't remember the exact wording, but that's what Tyrael said at the end in the little animated cutscene type thing. A lot of people were upset that there was no cinematic. I wasn't upset. I would have liked a cinematic, but I wasn't upset because the one that they used was used well, because it did, as I said, set up the Diablo series for another expansion, which is great. And the possibilities that they have from this point on out, endless. Seriously, they could do so much. They could go anywhere. I said to Helene before that I would have liked it if they made Act 6 and the next expansion much more grim. I know that doesn't even sound possible, but they should make it that your character is an outcast in the next expansion. So your character is framed or something like that, and you have to go out, and they implanted little bits of story in Act 5 that could support this. So you are in some ways against the characters that you've been playing with until this point. So Tyrael and all the other goodies, the newly formed Herodrum, are against you because they think you've been corrupted, but you haven't really. That would be so good. I don't want to go into it too much, but it would be great if they could play it like that. Then you have to go out and try and find Lilith to, let's say, free Imperius from his prison so that you can, I don't know, use him to do something, get somewhere. I don't know about all of it, but the fact that they put that lore in there means that they could potentially use it. And imagine meeting those characters. Also imagine fighting against someone like Tyrael. You could have this really downtrodden protagonist fighting against all odds, trying to prove their innocence. Wouldn't that be great? That would be a good way to set up the next act. I think so. Anyway, I've been having a lot of fun in Reaper of Souls. It's good. Act 5 is a blast. Monk is kind of fun. I do definitely prefer it over the Wizard and the other classes in the game. Obviously Crusader is kind of cool as well, but whatever. The story is worth experiencing. The end game is there. It's a thing. Let me know what you think. Tell me if you've been enjoying yourself. I know that a lot of you guys are having a blast because a lot of you are in the Tales of Lumin guild or clan or whatever it's called, which is actually currently full. Sad to announce that. I don't know why the Tales of Lumin community isn't working, but it just seems like communities are broken. You can't auto-join them when you log into Battle.net, and for the most part they just give errors when you try to join them anyway. Sad. But I've been having a good time. Tell me how your experiences have been, because it's been 1 week since launch, and I'm still playing. Still going strong for me. I want to improve my character. I'm also having a lot of fun transmogrifying my items, making it look different. You guys got a little taste of that at the end of the Monk leveling video. It's nice. Real nice. But again, check back here soon for more Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls talk, more Tales of Lumin episodes, and all the rest. Give this one a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. Most importantly though, happy Reaper of Souls being good. Happy that.
Wait to use that ability. I'm carrying too much.
The Rift Guardian has found me.
It is not ready yet. That ability is not yet recharged. Wait to use that ability. That ability is not yet recharged. It is not ready yet. Lessen my burden. I'm returning to town.